So we talked in the first part a bit about the book. Just to touch on it again, it's now published by Weatherby's a few years ago now.
Yeah.
Did that increase the profile and the circulation dramatically?
Yeah, definitely. Well, things like today, we're sat here at Chepstow today, and I've got a race name sponsored in the name of the book, which it's been happening for the past 3-4 years now since Weatherby's introduced, but it's something that I could never have afforded to push myself. So from the promotional point of view, again, as I said, just the visual impression you get when you pick the book up now, it looks a whole lot better, and that is since Weatherby's involvement. Yeah.
And would you say that the book is aimed at punters or just generally people that really enjoy national hunt racing?
Yeah, either and both, I would hope, to be honest. I hope there's enough in there to keep your racing fan entertained. But at the end of the day, a lot of people buy these books because they want to back winners, really. So that is that's what it comes down to at the end. Yeah, I would hope that people think it's value for money, the amount of information, the amount of time I've put into write it. But at the end of the day, people who are reading it, the majority of them have a bet and want to back a few winners.
So how much time and effort would you put into your own personal betting?
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I've watched these videos you've done with people who are professional punters. I'd be nowhere near that scale. I wouldn't even profess to be on that kind of level. I'm quite selective, to be honest. And the thing I go down, I follow as the way you can probably tell the way the book is. I like to back novices, young horses that haven't really fulfilled the potential, rather than the seasoned handicap chasers. Maybe later in the campaign, I like moving on. I like novices going into handicap companies, an angle that I use a lot. Even going into the festivals that now. And obviously last year I started writing the Cheltenham Festival betting guide, so and there's a lot of that in there. Even if going back a few years when Paul Jones used to write it, a couple of times I contributed to that, and one year was, could you give one piece of advice for the festival? And it's not just for the festival, I'd say it's for the season in general, and probably Christmas and beyond, and start looking at novices who've just had 3 or 4 runs once they go into a handicap company and beyond.
Now, you were telling me your early days of betting, you had a success but on the flat.
Yeah. Back when Frankie had his 7-timer, was it September '96, wasn't it? Yeah, I was 16 at the time, and it's quite a funny story when you get to the end of it. We were in the pub before the match. I wasn't drinking, obviously.
All betting.
All betting, yeah. We used to be, obviously, we'd be in the pub every week, and some of my dad's friends, some of them would be racing fans, but they wouldn't necessarily be punters. But I was quite keen on studying the form at the time. And on a Saturday, if there was racing on, if it was like during the winter when the racing was on before the match, they'd ask me to pick a horse out and they'd have a bet on it or something. We were sat there this day in September, and we were playing pool, and I actually said, Frankie could go through the card here. And my dad put a bet on a Yankee on for me. I think I won a few £100, nothing like out of the ordinary or anything, but as a 16-year-old I was pretty happy. But straight after the match, we went home in the car. Didn't go at the time. There was no mobile phones or anything. As we pulled up outside the house, my mum's waiting on the step. So the lads had got back to the pub and seen Dettori had the 7 winners on the telly and thought I'd won hundreds of thousands, and I'd been on the phone to my mum. So I think my mum was expecting me and my dad to turn up with a sack full of money with a couple of £100 in the pocket. So
that's not a bad start with your tank there. So what the so how long have you actually been in racing to earn your living?
Full time, well, since say I was working for Racing Ahead, you were talking like 13 years now, but I was still working part time in my office job for the past 10 years or so. And then Weatherby's approached me about, they were at the time, Andrew Carter was the commercial director. He contacted me and said he was a fan of Jumpers to Follow. Could we have a meeting about them taking over it, which they did. So that was 4 years ago now, and then ever since then I've been increasing my workload for them, and then the past couple of years I've ended up packing in work and I've gone working for Weatherby's now, so which they wanted to bring the production of the Cheltenham Festival betting guide in-house. I'd written the Aintree and Punchestown guide for them 2 years ago, so that was part of the getting me on board, was to start writing the Cheltenham Festival betting guide, and then now I contribute to race cards and things for them and things with the print.
Okay, now we try not to date these interviews too much, but what horses are you most excited about this season?
For this season, I would say one I'm looking forward to, probably a bit darker than many would nominate, would be Manila Bobo. running by Rebecca Curtis. She's got a novice chaser running here today called Liz Nagaroska, who'd probably be the obvious choice for many. But Manella Bobo, he was an Irish point-to-point winner, which is a field I like to delve into as well. And then he ran 3 times before he got off the mark over hurdles, winning at Stratford at the end of the season over 2 mile 6. But before that, he travelled well in a decent race here. The horse he actually beat in his point-to-point, I won't try and pronounce his name, trained by Fergal O'Brien, is 132 rated now. And there wasn't much between them in the Chepstow maiden hurdle. He went on to win a couple of handicaps. Manella Bobo went to Stratford and won his maiden hurdle over 2 mile 6, and off 126. I'd be disappointed if he couldn't win a couple of novice handicap chases before the handicapper catches up with him. He'd be one. Probably a more familiar name, say talking on bumper horses coming through. Chantry House and Nicky Henderson's again, point-to-point winner, the second time of asking. He won a bumper at Warwick on his debut in the colours of JP McManus, well supported, and he'd actually been declared and was a non-runner the previous 2 Saturdays, which strongly suggested that Nicky Henderson thinks he's pretty smart and he wouldn't risk him until the ground was right. I think that bumper was quite good actually that he won, and I'd expect him to develop into a smart novice hurdler this year.
Okay, you take part in a lot of Cheltenham previews and that sort of thing. Are you still allowed to take part in 10 to follow competitions?
Yeah, I do. I get involved with a couple with friends. Obviously the big one that was around the country doesn't go anymore, so I don't know whether I would be allowed to go into that. If it was still going, if it was still run by the Tote nowadays, I'm not sure.
And what other work do you do in racing now?
As I say, obviously I'm contracted to Weatherby, so a lot of my time is, I'm already working now on the Cheltenham Guide, the statistics and things, but I contribute to the race cards for Weatherby. Elsewhere, I was the BBC Radio Merseyside racing correspondent for a couple of years, until the racing slot was lost for Rugby League. I write for Racing Ahead, as you know, we spoke about it. I have a daily column for betrescue.com, which is, it's not really a detailed column, that's just a couple of, either selection or 2 for each day, but that's throughout the season. Okay,
what would you be looking at achieving in the next sort of 5 years? Have you got any unattained goals that you're sort of looking at?
Yeah, well, I'm as things stand, I'm happy where I am at the minute, because this is where I wanted to get to with the way the book is at the minute. But looking beyond that, yeah, there's a couple of things to say. Going to stables is one of the things I really like, and maybe getting involved. I do a lot of race planning. I do it for myself for the book. As you say about how putting things together, I actually try and map races out for horses, and if one of the horses ends up in a race where I've thought that's when I'll probably have a stronger bet maybe than other times and things, and that kind of thing I like too. And I wouldn't mind getting into, I've been to the sales a few times, along the lines with the buying and things, but I think they're probably a few years off yet.
So you're going to be a prolific owner in years to come?
Well, I've had shares in horses. That was one of the reasons it started really. My dad and myself had shares in a couple in Syndicate with Nicky Henderson going back a few years, and Charlie Lonsdon actually, when he wrote the foreword for my book a couple of years ago, he said he thought I only paid the fees just so I could get into Henderson's yard and get the information on all the good horses. That was at the time when the likes of Oscar Whiskey and Sprinter Sacro, Finian's Rainbow were coming through the bumper ranks, so it was a good time to be involved in the yard.
And yes, you've got Cornelius Lysitz, the introduction in this one.
Yeah, he's penned it this year, another Evertonian, but yeah, you very articulate.
Anyway, any football fans can buy the book, can't they? So it's
yeah. There's no affiliation with Everton.
Brilliant. Well, Paul Ferguson, thank you very much.
No problem, my pleasure.
Thank you.